Hey guys, Josh here from Run DNA. In front of me, I have got the new Mizuno Wave Rider 29. A fantastic update to this ever consistent shoe. And today's review, we're going to be talking about the outsole, the midsole, the upper, but we're going to be comparing it to the Wave Rider 28. Side by side, the two look pretty similar, but inside the new 29, there's been some subtle improvements. So without further ado, let's get stuck in. Okay, side by side, Wave Rider 29, Wave Rider 28. So you can see there isn't a lot of difference to the naked eye. However, there has been some significant change, and a lot of that change has come with the below the foot experience. So a slight alteration in reference to the midsole performance. They've adjusted the outsole, which is going to improve the overall experience of this shoe from entry, mid stance to toe off. So with all my reviews historically, I like to start with the outsole and work my way up. So no different today. Looking at the base of the shoe, you can see through here that there's got plenty of outsole coverage with reference to the rubber. Now obviously the Wave Rider 29 is this green model here, and the 28 is this, you could say high vis orange model on my right hand side through here. So looking at the two side by side, you still got that really nice vertical flex that comes the whole way through the lateral border of the 29. Nothing really changed from reference to where it's come from the 28. However, in terms of the two, you can see, it's hard to see actually, I shouldn't say, but in reference to the purchase point, the Wave Rider 29 has a more consistent grab with the ground from the heel right through to the forefoot, but mostly in this midfoot section through here. It's actually nice and straight and very balanced. When you look at the 28, on the lateral side, there is a little gap in that trussic system, or that region where the trussic sits traditionally underneath the lateral side of the midfoot through here. So it doesn't offer a huge difference in reference to that first step in, but what it does is when you're transitioning through mid stance in the new 29, you have got more purchase with the ground, which then just offers more stability as you then get your foot ready to toe off. Still got that hard wearing rubber on the lateral side through here. Again, 70% of runners that we're using this shoe will be heel strikers, so it's obviously vitally important that you keep that rubber nice and strong at the back half. But the great thing about this shoe, which I touched on a second ago, is the actual rubber coverage through the forefoot. To get confidence with this shoe, to offer stability, you need plenty of purchase with the ground, and offering that through the front half of this shoe, not only does it give the midsole some protection, it actually offers a fair bit of rigidity and stability to your first and second metatarsal, which is the two lever points as you toe off. So nothing really changed a whole heap between the 29 to the 28, but how they have executed this outsole is beneficial in reference to the engineering of their midsole, which we'll get to right now. Okay, the fun part of most shoe reviews is the midsoles. Historically, for the best part of 2 decades, the Wave Rider franchise has sat on a 12mm heel to toe offset for men's and women's, and that's been very consistent. It's been a shoe that's kind of positioned them in market, and they've held that point of difference now for the best part of half a decade, where other brands have sort of opted to drop down to 10, 8, and sometimes 6mm. So it was a good selling point. It offered a bit of point of difference. However, where the market's trending, it was great to see Mizuno obviously listen and adjust the stack height. Last year's model, we had a 38.5 in the heel and a 26.5 in the forefoot for that 12mm variance. This year in the Wave Rider 29, we've got 38.5 in the heel and 28.5 in the forefoot. So the starting position for your heel is the same. All they've done is address the forefoot and just beefed it up by 2mm. That adds a bit of extra comfort in reference to the overall feel and performance of the shoe, but it also offers a little bit more shoe underneath your forefoot for obviously toeing off as well. So to enhance the performance of the nitrogen-infused foam, Mizuno are using and have used their wave plate technology. There's been different iterations of that over the years, but what technically that does is it provides a bit of structure and integrity from the heel, and it transitions right through to just after mid-stance. So on the lateral side, you can see through here this little green plate. That's that TPU wave plate that Mizuno use. Again, it's varied in reference to how close it is to the foot and how far away over the journey, but what we find through here, they push it closer to the ground so you can get a softer feel in reference to that entry point. And then the ground reaction force coming back up through that nitrogen foam, it's going to offer a little bit more stability as well. On the medial side, it is slightly closer to the foot, and that's just contouring the shape and the natural movement plane of the runner when you land lateral border and transition across to the medial side. By having it a little bit closer, it just provides a bit more support and keeps you on the platform and transitioning through the appropriate parts of that midsole. So last but not least, let's talk about the upper. So To be completely honest with you, not a lot has changed in reference to the technology used. It's still a jacquard mesh. They've still got that internal heel counter at the back, which offers great stability for your calcaneus or your heel. However, there's a couple of sort of PU overlays which Mizuno have used, and all that does is just provide a little bit more structure and integrity in terms of the overall fit and outcome of that midsole. The tongue itself is almost identical in reference to the thickness. So for me, the tongue's a really good indicator in how the shoe's going to fit on top of your arch. We do have the gusseted construction. So gusseted tongues, for those of you at home that don't know, the tongue itself is attached to the midsole on the medial and the lateral side. So what that does is it provides a great grab for the top of your arch or navicular region. So it gives you nice security on top and just keeps you locked in reference to your foot on top of the platform. Again, talking about that heel counter and the Achilles flare through here, I do like that. So it ever so slightly leans away from the back of your Achilles in the 29 as it did in the 28. It just provides a better fit. We don't get as much irritation at the back of the heel as what we once did with previous versions, going back to almost the Wave Rider 25 and 26. And the other thing to talk about in reference to the upper is this shoe does come in widths, which is fantastic. So in the men's, we have a D, which is standard, and a 2E, slightly broader. In the ladies, there is a B, which is standard, and a D, which is offered again. So again, a standard and wide width in both men's and women's, which is fantastic. A little bit of feedback in reference to the overall sizing, which I'll jump to now before I give you my subjective outcomes of performance. I did go up half a size in the 29s. I could have probably stayed with my usual 9 US. However, I just felt more comfortable jumping up the half a size. And we've heard some consistent feedback over the years as well with Wave Rider fitting a little bit more secure. I certainly recommend stepping up half a size if you have been a Wave Rider customer. Okay, my subjective take on this shoe. The incremental changes have been fantastic. However, I know you're at home, you want to know what does that actually mean. Change in midsole compound being a little bit softer is just going to provide so much more cushioning. So whether you're jogging at a slow pace or you want to pick it up a little bit, you get ample amount of compression underneath the foot, and I think that is absolutely needed in this shoe. Historically, this model has been a little bit firmer. It's provided a point of difference, but the market is trending in the other direction. Not saying it's squishy, marshmallow soft like some models out there. You still have structure and integrity, but you do notice the extra cushioning, especially to the forefoot being 2 mil higher. I've used this shoe from anywhere from half an hour jog out the door to a longer 60-minute run. I think it's fabulous. It's light, it's cushioned, and it provides the appropriate amount of stability and support. A little rocker through the forefoot. This shoe is not historically known for that, but with the extra cushioning through the front half, there is a little bit of extra roll through the toe-off phase, which I think is a nice little adjustment as well. Just adds to the overall benefit and comfort, and also takes a little bit of extra load off those longer runs when you get a little bit tired and fatigued. Being a light shoe, versatile as I touched on, I think it's going to be great for those who want one shoe to do it all. If you happen to be needing a shoe that's going to cover your mileage, but you want to do some interval running, I do think this shoe is going to be fine. It is designed for your workhorse or your lighter workhorse, but again, being versatile on a lighter platform, you're going to find it to be absolutely fine for some shorter interval type of running as well. Being neutral, of course, it does sort of push out a little bit of that overpronated market. That's where the Wave Inspire comes in. So if you're looking for a very similar shoe with some overpronating support, that's where that shoe comes in. ASICS Gel Cumulus, New Balance 880, Saucony Ride, 3 options I would say fall in a similar category. So if you've used either of those 3, I would certainly suggest giving the Rider 29 a go. So if you've got any questions on this shoe, or if you've used the Wave Riders, we'd love to hear from you all over the globe. Let us know in the comments section below. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please hit the red button, stay notified, and we'll keep pushing out shoe reviews like this one for you, the fabulous running community. So until next time, stay safe, be kind to one another, happy running, and we'll see you soon.